Hello, my friend, and welcome to the first Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Premier Draft here on MTG ASMR. The long night of Crimson Vow is over. We went out on top, and now we're ready to dive in on day 2 on Arena. My very first draft. I have not done any practice drafts. Let's dive in together and see what happens. And we are off. Our first rare is kind of an interesting one. This is Thousand-Faced Shadow. It's 1 blue mana for a 1/1 flying human ninja. It has ninjutsu of 2 blue, so big ninjutsu, but when it enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, you make a copy of another creature you control. You know, that's not a bad card by any means, but I would almost rather take a Moon Snare Specialist. This is like a sweet rare to get past once you're already in that deck. So what do we want to take? Well, we've got Gravelighter, an uncommon, 2 and a black for a 2/2 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card if a creature died this turn. Otherwise, each player sacrifices a creature. I think that's good too. The only thing, there's lots of good stuff in here. There's Keep a Reckoner Raid, Tamiya's Completion. There's a Greater Tanuki, which is 6 mana 6/5. We're just going to go with the Thousand-Faced Shadow though. It's early in the format. Let's just try to play with the rares. As for our second pick, well, our uncommon is a 3 mana 2/2 double strike Blade Blizzard Kitsune. We got past Twin Shot Sniper though, which the LR boys gave an A- to. It's a 4 mana 2/3 reach artifact creature. When it ETBs 2 damage to any target, and you can channel it, discard it from your hand, 1 in a red to do 2 damage to any target. Given the incredible pedigree of this card, we're just going to have to take it as a major signal. And now what do we get? Reality Heist, which is a dig through time, but for artifacts. Not that interested. We've got a Moon Circuit Hacker, 2 mana 2/1 ninja. When it ETBs, or when it does damage rather to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard it unless it came to play this turn. So when you ninjutsu it, you get to draw a card. That's pretty cool. There's also Explosive Entry, 2 mana sorcery, destroy an artifact, put a 1/1 counter on a creature. I think I'd rather have the Moon Circuit at this point. We'll try that out. We get past Behold the Unspeakable, an uncommon saga. 5 mana. Step 1, creatures you don't control get -2/-0. Step 2, if you have 1 or few cards in hand, draw 4 cards, otherwise scry 2, draw 2. Then it turns into an XX, where that's the number of cards in your hand, flying trample. Boy, that's a lot of stuff, huh? Meanwhile, we have Iron Hoof Boar, which is just a 6 mana 5/4 that you can channel into a 3/1 combat trick. I just like that better, honestly. Green is still going around the board right now. Okay, I think we're getting paid off here, though. There is Futurist Operative, but I'm more interested in Enthusiastic Mechanaut. Blue-red, 2/2 flying, artifact creature. Makes your artifacts cost 1 less. We might just be in the artifact deck. Yeah, we're going to try that out. Then we get past Kami's Flare, 2 mana, do 3 damage to a creature. I mean, this card is never not good in a format. There is Moon Snare Specialist, which seems very late for this card, but we learned in last format that early interaction is huge, so I think we're going to try that out. I wouldn't mind getting some more ninjas, a minor ninja theme in here, but 2 mana deal 3 at instant speed is just too good to pass up. Now we have Armed Guard Familiar, 2 mana 2/1 Ward 2 equipment that reconfigures to be a 2/1 Ward 2 equipment. I mean, that's a lot of action. There's also the Modern Age, though, which is a 2 mana enchantment that lets us loot. I think we're taking the Modern Age. 2 mana enchantment, for the first 2 stages you loot, and then for the 3rd stage it turns into a 2/3 flyer. I mean, I just want to take generically good cards at this point. So we've got 2 ninjas, the Modern Age, which turns into a flyer, which can get it through. Or Enthusiastic Mechanaut, which is a flyer that can get through. Like, there's a lot of stuff we got going here. We get past a Moonsnare prototype. Blue mana, tap plus tap an untapped artifact to add a colorless. Yeah, no thanks. There's Tawashi's Song Shaper, 2 mana 2/2 artifact creature. When an artifact ETBs, it gets +1/+0. Very whatever. Futurist Sentinel, 3 and a blue for a 6/6 crew 3 vehicle. The LR boys said that's bad. We're going to take the 2-drop. Tawashi Song Shaper. So the Moonsnare Specialist wheeled all the way around. As did the Okiba Reckoner raid and Tamiya's Completion. We're taking the Specialist, and we are potentially looking to get into blue-black ninjas because it seems like that's wide open. Okay, so pack 2, we'll see what comes to us. We need to be very ready to move out of red and into black if that's what's available to us. So the Specialist is a 3 and a blue 2/2 human ninja. It comes into play, bounce a creature. But it also has Ninjutsu, 2 and a blue. So if you get attacker through, you can pay 2 and a blue. It comes into play attacking, bounces a creature. 3 and a blue 2/2 bounce a creature is already just good. So we'll be interested in that. Past a Inkrise Infiltrator, 1/2 flying for 2 mana ninja. Yeah. Alright, we're going to try to move in on black, I think. The signs are there. I mean, we got a late Kami's Flare too, so one of these colors is open. Either black or red is open to us, and we're going to try to capitalize on whichever one it is. We get past Explosive Entry, Brute Suit, Unstoppable Ogre, or Reality Heist. I think we'll take Reality Heist. I mean, if we're in the artifact deck, that will be a decent card, but I think there's a pretty good chance we don't wind up in that deck. Even if we're blue-red, we'll have to be pretty focused on artifacts to make this card good. It's a 7 mana, costs 1 less for each artifact you control. You look at the top 7 and get 2 artifacts from among them into your hand. Artifact. That's what that card's all about. Don't know if we're going to wind up there, though. We get past another Reality Heist. And an Experimental Synthesizer, which is more interesting to me. I think we'll go ahead and pick up the Synthesizer. And then we get past a Spell Pierce, which we'll take. Don't know if we'll play it, but it's a good option to have. Little Counterspell. It's a very rare deck where this card won't be good at some point. Okay, next pack. Well, we've got a blue rare, but it's kind of secretly a blue-white rare, Tameshi Reality Architect. Don't think we're in for that. We get Covert Technician, 2 and a blue human ninja, an artifact creature, 2/4. Deals combat damage to a player. You put an artifact with mana value less than or equal to the damage dealt from your hand on the battlefield. And that honestly does not sound that good. Mobilizer Mech, 2 mana, 3/4 flying vehicle. And a Gravelighter, which is just generically good. Well, we're going to go for generically good until proven otherwise. We're going to take the Gravelighter, hope that black is open this pack, and try to move in on blue-black ninjas and kind of get rewarded straight away with a Silver Fur Master. This is a blue and a black for a 2/2 rat ninja that gives your other ninjas +1/+1. If we take this, we are just fully in on that strategy. The fact that we got it passed to us is a good sign to me. So we are going to take it and potentially get out of red. We're giving up a fair amount if we do leave red, but I think the rewards are going to be there for us. What do we get past now? We got past a Tempered in Solitude. This is a 1 and a red enchantment. When a creature you control attacks alone, you can play the top card of your library this turn. Tamiya's Completion. This is a 4 mana tap down, which might just be the answer. Yeah, from where we're sitting right now, I think just a removal spell, even if it's a little clunky, sounds good. We don't have a ton in the way of removal. I mean, we're giving up our current plan anyways to give up our Kami's Flare, which is our best removal spell in red. Yeah, we'll have to see about that. Much depends. Much depends on how the rest of this pack goes. What we wind up in. What are we getting past here? The black is drying up rapidly. Yuck. Get past the red-green build around, Invigorating Hot Spring. We're not in for that. A Moonfolk Puzzle Maker, 3-mana, 1/4 flyer. Can enable some stuff. There's a Ninja's Kunai, which is a colorless removal spell. Yeah, I think that's just going to have to be what we take. We still don't know where we're going, whether it's blue-red or blue-black, and a colorless removal helps shore up our deck no matter where we end up. The Kunai is 1 to play, 1 to equip, pay 1, tap the creature, sacrifice the Kunai, 3 damage to any target. Certainly not the most efficient thing, but it's not bad. So we get past a Voltaic Surge, which is a shock where you can sacrifice an artifact to make it a deal 4 instead of a deal 2. We only have 2 black cards right now, and we're not getting past much. So we could just take the Voltaic Surge and try to move in on that. Alternately, we have the Modern Age, another copy, which is just a good spell. Loot turns into a 2/3 flyer. We're going to take the Modern Age. Just trying to stay safe and pay attention to what's popping up in the next pack. Now we get past a Okiba Reckoner raid, which is another Saga, 1 mana this time. Drains them for 2 and then turns into a 2/2 menace. Just a strong card. I think that's a good enough sign. We'll take the Reckoner raid. We're not really taking it over anything else either, so... Glad we took that blue card when we did the Modern Age. It's so early in the format, it's hard to know what is actually a sign. Whew. So 2 Colossal Sky Turtles have come around so far. This is the 7 mana huge green-blue payoff. But it's way too late for us on that one. We will take a Virus Beetle though. 2 mana 1/1 artifact creature when it ETBs your opponent discards. One of those just great early drops. We're going to enter into this format and try to be low to the ground, interactive early. Another Spell Pierce. Or a Clawing Torment. Given that we already have a Spell Pierce, I kind of like the Clawing Torment. This is a 1 black enchantment aura. Gives the creature -1/-1 and can't block. And it has at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. It's an aggressive card for sure, but that could be us. We get past a Network Disruptor, 1 mana 1/1 artifact creature when it ETBs tap a permanent. It's a good ninjutsu enabler if it comes to that. Suit Up. 2 and a blue instant, an artifact creature becomes a 4/5 until end of turn you draw a card. The boys at LR did not like this. I think this is actually good. So let's see if I'm right. Past a Synthesizer, the red card. We're not really looking for that, but we might be in there. A Mnemonic Sphere. A Cycler, or it just turns into a cool draw spell. We're getting past lots of blue. Blue seems like a good color to be in. Okay, let's hope for good things in this last pack. What do we get? Well, we get Acquisition Octopus, 3 mana 2/2 artifact creature equipped Octopus. When it or another creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That I think might actually be the call. We also have Assassin's Ink, which is 4 mana kill a creature, but given all the little flyers that we have, I think the Octopus is just really nice for us. That's going to be well equipped on a lot of creatures. What else do we got? We get past another Enthusiast Mechanaut. We still have the question if we are blue-black or blue-red. We have 4 black cards in our deck right now. Are we just taking this 2/2 flyer? Maybe we are. There's nothing else in this pack. We'll take that, see where it goes. This is where like things start to get a little bit sketchy. You get past Nezumi Prowler, 2 mana 3/1. Ninjutsu for 2. There's battlefield, target creature control gains Death Touch and Lifelink. That's just a great card. Boy. It is late in the draft and we still don't really know what we're doing. As far as our last color, our second color rather, excuse me. Get past another Moon Snare Specialist. Blue is so open. Another Moon Snare. We're just taking all of those. Just bouncing creatures all day. There's another Voltaic Surge, which is a good removal spell. I think we're just taking as many Moon Snares as we can get. The tempo you get off this card is nuts. The one thing we know is that we're in blue. And that Moon Snare is good. So we'll keep taking them. Okay, so now we're getting past another Ninja's Kunai, which is fine. A Tempered in Solitude. These have been going around the table like mad. Is that good enough? I think so. We'll take it. Nothing else is that interesting in that pack anyway. Now we get past an Automated Artificer. 2 mana 1/3 tap to add mana for a artifact card. We have a lot of artifacts in this deck actually. The alternative is Simian Sling. It's a little too aggressive for us, I think. And we also have a Thundersteel Colossus. We'll take the Artificer. I don't know, that's a tough call. Now we get a Mirror Shell Crab. This is a 3 mana counterspell. It's also a 5/7 ward creature, depending on what you want to do. Moon Circuit. Twisted Embrace is just a removal spell. We'll take the Twisted Embrace. Now we're getting real low on cards here. Kaito's Pursuit. Just a discard spell. Oh, what is this deck? A strong start into Kamigawa. Who knows what we're doing? Are we blue-black? Are we blue-red? Only time will tell. Get past... Nothing really. Lethal Exploit. Lethal Exploit's fine. 2 mana, deal 2 to a creature, basically. Gives -2/-2, but... Sure. That's not bad. Especially this late. I like our red spells, but we just don't have that many of them. And 2 of them are these synthesizers, which aren't that exciting. We'll take a Saiba Trespassers now. Try to fill out our blue. Here we are at the end. A Reckoner's Bargain. No. Reckoner's Showdown. We'll take a blue-red land. Not that we're going to really play it, but... I don't know what else we're going to take out of that pack. Whew. The first draft of a new set. Especially one as complex as this one. Stressful. We get past 2 of Set's babies, Disruption Protocol and Network Terminal. We'll take the Disruption Protocol. Whew. And that concludes the drafting phase. Let me sit down for a while, have a sip of tea, and decide what I'm going to do with this pile of cards I've drafted. And I'll get right back to you. And like magic, this is what I have settled on. We are mostly blue-black with a tiny, tiny little splash of red for some removal, which I've been pretty happy with in the past, doing a little red splash. The red splash is for 2 cards. Twin Shot Sniper, which, as I said, I think is just too good to leave out, and Kami's Flare, which is 2 mana, deal 3. Between those 2 cards, I'm pretty happy. And then besides that, we're just fairly low to the ground. 3 Moon Snare Specialists for bounce and tempo. Some flyers in the form of Gravelighter, Network Disruptor, Thousand Face Shadow, the Modern Age, and then The big thing we're missing in this deck, I feel, is some high end. I wish we had taken that 7-mana vehicle. But, yeah, this is going to make for an interesting first dive into Kamigawa. Join me for Game 1 after the break.
Does the thought of leading a group through the creative landscapes of your imagination terrify you? Do you worry about being asked questions you don't know the answers to? Have you wanted to try being a dungeon or game master, but your social anxiety has been holding you back? Hi, I'm Amber, and I used to nearly vomit at the idea of running a tabletop RPG. How'd I get over that anxiety? I haven't. Surprise! I'm still an anxious mess, and you can listen to all of it on Shapeshift, where I've recorded 80% of every game I've ever ran. Over the last 4 years, I've run a ton of indie one-shots like Casketland, a weird Western horror game, to my first ever campaign using Ryutama, a Studio Ghibli-like exploration-focused game. Follow me through my journey learning how to GM and to live with my anxiety. It doesn't go away completely, but it does get easier to manage. Go to geekspective.com to find out more information or find Shapeshift on wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Let the games begin. We go first. We have a turn 2 Nezumi Prowler, which is not bad. A lethal exploit and a Gravelighter. Seems fine. Not the most exciting opening hand, but not the worst either. 3 cards we can cast. Some quick damage. Opponent goes straight up land rare. Igonjo, Seed of the Empire. Now it has a channel ability, so they just played it as a plane, so we're really not too bothered by what we see here. Let's get our Nezumi Prowler out there. Yes, we're giving up the Death Touch and Lifelink, but we also get a 3/1. Opponent plays Era of Enlightenment. This is a saga. They're going to scry 2. Chapter 2, they'll gain 2 life, and then they'll get a 2/2 First Striker, which is not bad. We are going to smash their face right now. For 3 damage, we'll play a... Do we want to play a Salt Water Cliffs? Yeah, we do. We'll gain a life off it. It's 21 to 17. Got our lethal exploit up and running. In case they play something. They don't. So it'll come back to our turn. We're going to play a land. Attack with our Prowler once again, and end the turn. We now have 2 removal spells, our Lethal Exploit, which will probably just kill their Hand of Enlightenment they just got. We also have a Gravelighter, which is pretty good, and a Tamiya's Completion. Got lots of options here. If they pass to us, we can Lethal Exploit their Hand of Enlightenment, Gravelighter, get a 2/2 flyer, and draw a card. We would be very happy if they did nothing. Instead, they played Tawashi Guidebot. This is a 4-mana 2/1. In their battlefield, they put a 1/1 counter on target creature they control. So they're probably going to go and try to put that on their Hand of Enlightenment. No, they're putting it on itself. Do we just kill it? Yeah. I think we just kill it. Or no, do we kill the... Oh, I'm so torn. We'll just let them resolve it. Go to attacks. It's my turn. Alright. Now we're in some business. Now we have the Twin Shot Sniper, which could kill their Tawashi Guidebot, plus a Lethal Exploit, which could kill their Hand of Enlightenment. And we can't do both of those, though. That's 6 mana, we only have 5. So instead, let's exploit, kill the Hand of Enlightenment. Go to attack with our Prowler. They take it, going to 13. We play Gravelighter, a 2/2 flyer. A creature died this turn, so we draw another card, the Moonsnare Specialist. Ooh, we are feeling fancy. This Guidebot could start drawing them cards. They play a Behold the Unspeakable. There's another Saga. Our creatures get -2, -0 until their next turn. So that's not so good for us. They attack us. That's bold. It's 18 to 13. And now we can... What? We've got 6 mana here. So we could do what now? We can attack them. I mean, that's the obvious thing. 1 attacker. Now we can play an Acquisition Octopus. I think yes. Or do we want to Moon Snare them? We'll just play the Octopus. And we could reconfigure it right now, which is the safer thing to do. Let's go ahead and do that. Reconfigure, put it on the Gravelighter. So now our Gravelighter, if it hits them, will draw us a card. Opponent goes to phase 2 of Behold the Unspeakable, which means that they're going to scry 2 and draw 2. Which is good for them. They need some answers right now. Then this Saga of theirs is going to turn into a huge creature. But we do have Tamiya's Completion waiting in the wings to tap that down. Even has Flash. It's 18 to 12. Our opponent has their 3/2 that could draw them a card. They have mana available. Are they going to play something? Are they going to hold up the potential to draw a card? They play Ninja's Kunai. And I assume they're going to equip it and go ahead and use it. Killing our Gravelighter? I mean, they play their own Acquisition Octopus. Okay. So now we've got options here. They've got that Kunai. Are they just going to wait until we go to attack phase? Probably. Let's just go to attacks and see what they do. Presumably what they do is snipe our Gravelighter. They don't. I see. They're waiting to see if we attack them. Well, we're going to attack with both our creatures. Again, I assume they're going to Kunai our Gravelighter. That is what they do. It resolves. Kills our Gravelighter. Next we'll go to blockers. And we're just going to go to damage. Get them with that. Now, we could play our Twin Shot Sniper, killing their Guidebot, and then play a Modern Age. Yeah, I think so. Twin Shot, play it, kill the Guidebot, play the Modern Age. Chapter 1 happens, we draw a card and discard a card. We draw a land, ditch the land. Their turn. Okay, perfect. Their Saga, Behold the Unspeakable, turns into a 5/5 flying trample. Quite scary. Does not have haste, so has to sit there for now. Meanwhile, we have Tamiya's Completion waiting in the wings. They have a lot of cards, though, has to be said. They're reconfiguring their Acquisition Octopus onto their Vision. We like that, because we're about to complete the Vision of the Unspeakable. Tamiya's complete, that is. They have 4 mana up. I mean, there's a chance we just get got by a counterspell, which would suck. If they have it, they have it. They also have 5 mana and 4 cards in hand. I mean, there's a lot that can change in the next few seconds. They don't do anything, though. We draw another Moon Snare, which I don't know why I've been talking about this stupid Tamiya's Completion. Meanwhile, we can just play a 4 mana spell and kill this enchantment creature. Discard a card. Ditching another land? Yeah, I think so. let's play a Moon Snare. And they have Disruption Protocol. I mean, what did we expect, right? Now here's the question. Do we attack with everything? No. No attacks. We just end the turn. If we had an extra mana available, we could attack with everything. Our creatures would get through, and then we could ninjutsu a Moon Snare and really get them. Now they're playing Patchwork Automaton, a 1/1 artifact creature with Ward 2. When they cast an artifact, they get a 1/1 counter. Then they cast Network Disruptor, a 1/1 flyer, tapped a creature, put a 1 counter their automaton. They attacked with their Vision of the Unspeakable. My god. This set is complicated. Alright. Meanwhile, our Saga transformed into Vector Glider, 2/3 flyer. We're going to play a land. Do we want to Moon Snare? Or do we just attack with everything and ninjutsu and a Moon Snare? I think that's what we do, because that leaves up to Mia's completion. Attack with all 3 of our creatures. They do 2 blocks. Patchwork Automaton on our 2/2. Network Disruptor on our 3/1. And then we're going to Moon Snare in Ninjutsu. Return our Twin Shot to hand. Bounce a creature back to its owner's hand. What do we want to return? Vision of the Unspeakable would waste a lot of their time, but would also give them the ability to -2/-0 our stuff. This Patchwork has Ward 2. Let's get their Disruptor. This saves our Prowler. Wastes a bit of their time. Now we can decide, do we want to save back our Tamiya's completion? Let's go to damage, I guess, first. No need to rush through these things. I think we're going to end the turn and Tamiya's completion, their Vision of the Unspeakable. They play Sky Swimmer Koi, 3/3 flyer. When an artifact enters the battlefield, they can draw a card. If they do, discard a card. Fine. It's 16-7. What an intense game. Then, of course, they play their Network Disruptor. They tap a permanent. Sure. They should have tapped one of our lands, but they don't realize that. Then they loot. Now we're going to Tamiya's completion, their Vision. Interesting. So this is an element I didn't really understand of the reconfigure cards. Namely that even though you kill the creature they're on, they can attack, because obviously they haven't entered the battlefield this turn. That was a weird one. Okay. We have 7 mana up. We have 8 mana worth of plays. That's unfortunate. What we can do here, though, is we could Moon Snare, return their Sky Swimmer to their hand, and attack with everything. They would trade off. Yeah, we're going to Moon Snare. Start with that. Cast it. Bounce their Sky Swimmer to hand. Go to attack. Hit them with our 2/3 flyer and our 2/2 specialist. Go to damage. They're at 3. In the turn, they gain 2 life, so that's 14-5. They need to put a lot of stuff in play this turn, because otherwise we have a 2 damage channel in hand. Ooh, they play Cyber Trespassers. They channeled it, discarded it, and they tapped 2 of our creatures they don't untap. That's good. They're attacking into us? I mean, that's bold. It's 11-5. I mean, they can play their Sky Swimmer, which is what they do. Very bold. We can attack with 2 creatures this turn, which will put them down to 3. A 2/3 flyer is very annoying. I think we attack, push through 2 damage. They, of course, block the Vector Glider. I thought they were. No, they block the Specialist. I don't really get that logic, but okay. Now the question here is, do we just play the Twin Shot Sniper to finish off their Sky Swimmer Koi? I think yes. Because they're going to get a 2/2 first strike next turn. And then we can try to kill them with flyers. Oh, it's so sketchy though. If we don't do that, then they're going to get a 2/2 first strike. They have a 3/3 flyer. How are we ever getting through that flyer? I think we're going to play the Twin Shot. Finish off the Sky Swimmer. End the turn. That was a difficult call to make. The issue now, again, they still have 3 cards in hand. They have a 1/1 flyer, a 2/2 first striker. We need to get through multiple hits on them, especially with our 2/3 flyer. But they have a 1/1 flying blocker that could be there for multiple turns. Really hoping our opponent just gives up right now for no reason. A stressful first game in this format. Opponent just passed. Well, we could attack with everything, in which case they will have to trade off multiple creatures to stop us from just killing them. But they have a 2/2 first striker. So I think what we need to do is attack with a Vector Glider and a Twin Shot Sniper. Yes. They pretty much have to block the 2/3 flyer. I don't think they can afford to go to 1. Them not knowing that we have 2 lands in hand. As for the 2/3, okay, that's a good play from them. So they played Short Circuit. It's an enchantment with flash, gives a creature -2/-0, it loses flying, which then lets them block it. Okay, so they did take out our flyer, which is pretty good from them. Yeah, this is looking sketchy. We have our 2/3 reach, a 2/2, and a 3/1. That's all we've got right now. They're at 1 life, but they have 3 creatures in play to block all our stuff. I mean, I'm sure they're just sweating over what we have in hand. But we have nothing. Wow, they're reconfiguring onto their Disruptor. So they removed one of their own creatures from play right now. That's a bad idea. I mean, this tells me they have something else in hand. Or maybe they just don't understand the situation they're in. Okay. That makes more sense. So then they played Walking Skyscraper. This is an 8/8 hexproof trample. Which, yeah, that does pretty firmly stop me from attacking them. We drew another land. We really need just any spell, and we could be on the board here. And Okiba Raid just wins us the game straight up. We're just going to tank for a while to make them think we're thinking about things, and then we're going to pass. We faked an attack. Really make them think we're going to get up to some shenanigans here. We can take exactly 1 hit from this Skyscraper. they acted like they were going to attack with their Disruptor. Then I think they realized we have our Twin Shot Sniper. I'm surprised they didn't move their Octopus over onto their Skyscraper. A classic English sentence right there. They're attacking with their Skyscraper. We're just going to take 8. We go to 3. And we just have to pray we draw something. They play Guardians of Aboro. 3 mana, 3/4 Defender. Modified creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender. Whatever. They reconfigured, gave themselves their Octopus back, and we drew yet another land. I mean, we finished up that game by drawing like 6 lands in a row, so we just lose. We'll go to combat. I mean, there's still a chance that our opponent slow rolls us and doesn't swing. I doubt it because they showed they're willing to attack with their Skyscraper last turn. They're in a better position now, so there's no reason for them to not attack us. But you never know. No reason to quit the game when our opponent could just mail it to us. They play a rare, inventive iteration, bounces a creature back to our hand, our Moon Snare, and then they swing out. Okay. You know, they had that game won already, so them playing that rare didn't really matter that much. Wow. Very close game. Very close game. I liked what we were doing. Our lack of high end at the end of that game really bit us, but more than anything, like we got him down to 1 health, and any number of cards in our deck could have won the game for us at the very end there. Like what all could have done is, like Cyber Trespassers tapping some of their creatures would have won it for us. Twisted Embrace killing a creature, giving one of our guys +1/+1 would have done it. Our second Tamiyo's Completion would have done it. Another Moon Snare would have done it. Kami's Flare, killing a creature, getting rid of a blocker would have done it. What else? Inkrise Infiltrator, just another flying creature, might have done it. There's tons and tons of stuff we could have drawn. Like I said, the Okiba Reckoner raid would just instantly have won us the game. Thousand Face Shadow, Network Disruptor, like any number of cards that we could have drawn would have done it, but we drew a bunch of lands. These things do happen. Let's try to improve in game number 2. Opponent goes first. We have a Modern Age to get the ball rolling, a Moon Snare Specialist, an Inkrise Infiltrator if we draw a black mana, as well as a Twisted Embrace. This seems quite good. Opponent goes Island Iron Apprentice. This is a 1/1 when it dies, you can move its 1/1 counters to something else. Sure thing. We drew Thousand Face Shadow. Do we want to just lead with it or save it as ninjutsu for later? I think we want to save it for ninjutsu for later. We just want to get our Swiftwater Cliffs out here and gain a life. 21 to 20. Then we can, depending what happens next, could Modern Age to start looting. If we draw a swamp, we could start Inkrise Infiltrating, a 1/2 flyer. They play Dragon Spark Reactors, so they're on the pure artifact deck, it looks like. This is a Shrine of Burning Rage, but for artifacts. Okay, we do not have the swamp, so we're going to go Modern Age instead. And that got us the swamp. So what do we want to ditch here? We're going to get to loot again next turn, so I think for now we lose an island. So next turn we get to draw a card and loot a card. They played Plains, so they're straight up 3-color now. And they played Prosperous Thief. 3 mana, 3/2. When it does damage to us, they get a treasure. I don't think we're going to let them do that. We are going to ditch our Cyber Trespassers, I think. Or are we expecting to draw more lands? I guess we're going to draw more lands. That's inevitable. We'll ditch an island. I'm just so salty from getting flooded last time. So we'll play a swamp. And then do we want to exploit their thief while they don't have mana up? I guess we should, huh? I just don't want them countering this spell. So we'll go ahead and kill the thief just to make sure we don't get countered and then they start getting in for damage and making treasures and just popping off. Also, them making treasures would mean that they get to get extra counters in their Dragon Spark Reactor. They played Befriending the Moths, a saga. This set is something else, I tell you. Okay, but what do we have going on? We have a 2/3 flyer that can't attack yet, but it's hanging back on defense, which is good. I think we're going to use our mana as best we can this turn. Play a Network Disruptor. And, I don't know, it taps something. Let's tap their Dragon Spark Reactor. Why not? And then we'll play an Inkrise Infiltrator. We've got quite the flying force now. Got a 2/3 flyer, a 1/1 flyer, and a 1/2 flyer. They play an artifact, Mnemonic Sphere. They sacrifice it, draw some cards. Their Iron Apprentice is a 2/2 now. We draw a Moon Circuit Hacker. Very interesting. I think we're just attacking. They're just going straight to damage, so we could Moonrise this turn. Which I think we're going to. Ninjutsu in. The Moonrise. Get back our Network Disruptor. Sure. 17 to 15. It hit them. The hacker did, so we draw a card, which is sweet because we needed that land. And now we can play the Disruptor again, I suppose. Or save it for next turn. I think maybe we save it for next turn. It also could just let us... well, let's play the Disruptor. Tap a land they control. Their Saga transforms into a 2/4 flyer Imperial Moth. We can just Moon Snare it or Twisted Embrace it on our turn, depending on what we draw. We also have Cyber Trespassers. The Kami's Flare are Vector Glider. And then play an Unstoppable Ogre. Garbage card. And they hit us for 1. Okay. My. What do we do now? I think what we do now is go to attack with everything. Because they just block one thing. Imperial Moth on our Network Disruptor. What that means we can do is Ninjutsu in our Nezumi Prowler. Bouncing our Moon Circuit Hacker to our hand. Which is going to give our Disruptor Death Touch. And then we can Moon Circuit Hacker, Ninjutsu in, bouncing our Infiltrator back to our hand. Smack them down to 10, kill their Moth, and draw a card. Wow. That was nuts. And now I think we're just going to throw in our Thousand Face Shadow as a 1/1 flyer. It's a bit lame, but it uses our mana, and we've got so much ninjutsu possibility in our hand that it's just nice. Their Dragon Spark Reactor is powering up. It's now at 5 counters. For 4 mana, they can sacrifice to do 5 to us and 5 to a creature we control. They're attacking with their Ogre. It's fine. So we're at 10 and so are they. Now what do we want to do? So there's lots we could do. We could Twisted Embrace, which would kill a creature they control. I don't know. There's also our Moon Snare Specialist to bounce a creature. Our best use of mana is an Inkrise Infiltrator plus a Moonsnare Specialist Ninjutsu'd. Or we could just Twisted Embrace. Let's Twisted Embrace. Put a 1/1 counter on our flyer. Kill their Unstoppable Ogre. Go to attack. We're not going to attack with everything because they just have good blocks for us. Just hit them for 2. They go to 8. Whew. Ninjutsu is cool. It makes you feel like a real badass as you're flipping things in and out of play. I don't know if we're actually accomplishing anything, to be honest. They play Koshintai of Ancient Wars, 2/2 First Striking Shrine. Being there instead, they can pay 1. Which would do a damage to a player. Which they don't have mana for this turn, but it's a bit scary. We've got 2 Tamiyo's Completions. Damn, the Dragon Spark Reactor doesn't have to tap. That would be great to keep tapped down, but what are we going to do? We could bounce something. Like, for example, could bounce their Goshin tie back to their hand and then just get them for some damage. Could just attack with our Shadow again, get them for 2. We're just going to hit them. Get them down to 6. And then play an Inkrise Infiltrator? Or do we want to play our Moonsnare? I think we're going to play our Inkrise Infiltrator. This is a 1/2 flyer, as I said, a Human Ninja. We can pump it for 4 mana. They played Mirror Shell Crab, which I think was a very bad idea on their part. Because it means their reactor's not available to be used. So we could hit them for 4 damage in the air with our 1,000 Face Shadow and Inkrise. And that's all we're doing this turn if we do that. I think we're going to go ahead and go for that. Let's go ahead and pump our Inkrise Infiltrator. They're at 1. No cards in hand. They have a lot of damage available to do to us. Do they just kill us here? Oh, this sucks. So they do. They do just kill us with that reactor. Oh, so close. Boy, I think multiple things. I think it's complex, this format. I think our opponent was 3 color, and very lazily so. We didn't see any fixing of any kind. I think we've been very close both games so far, and us just not having any juice as we get further into the game is definitely not good. Well, I'm excited at the possibility of us going 0-3 in our first dive into this format. Can we do it? We go first. We've got a 2-mana play in Inkrise. We have another cheap interaction with Lethal Exploit. Got Tamiyo's Completion and Cyber Trespassers. I think we'll keep, but this is not a very exciting hand. 2-mana crappy flyer. Lethal Exploit is actually exciting. Expensive removal in Tamiyo's, and then a janky finisher in Cyber Trespassers. They play Moonsnare Prototype. This is a blue mana for an artifact. Tap it and an untapped artifact to get a colorless mana. Go nuts, pal. I'm ready to be shown that I'm wrong about that card. But I don't think it's very good. Although I suppose, as LR mentioned, there's the artifact-heavy deck like the one we just played against, which will just play whatever seemingly mediocre artifacts. This does have a channel on top of it, 5 mana to bounce a non-land permanent to the top or bottom of its owner's library. So it does have a good secondary plan. Yeah, there's a good chance it's better than I think. They play Swift Water, gaining a life, and then an Iron Apprentice. So we are going against another all-in artifacts. I guess, do we just attack them? It's a 1-mana artifact. They take the damage. Could also exploit their Iron Apprentice so that they can't use it for mana on their next turn. I kind of like that, because we're not doing anything else this turn. Let's just exploit it now. Especially since it doesn't have anything you can put counters on right now. We're just not doing anything otherwise. They play Sokinzen Smelter. 2-mana 2/2. At the beginning of combat on your turn, pay 1 and sacrifice an artifact to get a 3/1. Wow. How quickly we regret. So this will start turning all of their artifacts into 3/1s, including the Moon type. The Moon Snare prototype, excuse me. It can even do it this turn. With haste? That card's disgusting. So what are we going to do? I suppose we can attack. They're not going to block, indeed. Then we can Moon Snare, put into play, and what are we bouncing? They're 3/1? I guess so. I mean, I don't like them having this Smelter in play. Like, so they played a Plains. These, what is with these 3-color? This Team America seems to be the archetype for artifacts. Now this deck, I will give them credit, they play Ecologist Terrarium, which is some amount of fixing. And they can also then sacrifice it to their Smelter, make another 3/1, and they attack with a 2/2 and a 3/1. Well, we're going to be blocking the Smelter with our Specialist. We're not going to put up with that anymore. Now what do we want to do? Well, we want to attack. And then play a Cyber Trespassers. An incredibly lame 5-mana 3/5. This is what we've been reduced to, everybody. Now, depending on what our opponent does here, we could attack with both our creatures. The Infiltrator gets through. We can ninjutsu in our Thousand Face Shadow and get this, make a copy of a 3/5 creature. Whoa. Going crazy. A 3/5 with no abilities. We would be absolutely popping off if we could do that. They play a Behold the Unspeakable. Very good. So I have a question. If I make a copy of my creature right now with Thousand Face Shadow, is that going to copy a 1/5? Does it copy temporary modifications like that? I'm kind of curious just to try it because I have no idea. It doesn't copy temporary abilities, does it? Copies the card. I'm willing to stake that it copies the card. And for that reason, we're going to combat. Attacking with both creatures. 2 attackers. Go to blockers. No blockers. Ninjutsu. The Thousand Face Shadow. Return my Inkrise back to my hand. Make a copy. It is a 3/5. Okay. We're good. We figured it out. It's now 14-13. Our opponent's Behold the Unspeakable takes up. They scry 2, draw 2. Next turn, they're going to get a Giant Flyer. They play another Terrarium. It's a good card. They're attacking with their Construct, which is now a 4/2. That's bold. That is the bold taste. Well, we're going to go to attack with everything. They're going straight to damage, so we're going to pump our Infiltrator. They're at 3. Well, they are now getting a giant unspeakable horror. 6/6 flying trample. Can't attack this turn, bear in mind. They're attacking us again. This, no fear for our opponent. I'm sure they have no reason. They played a Sky Swimmer Koi, and now they're down to 2 mana. And I think we just win. I think we would just win even if we didn't have anything in hand. They're at 3. They can block 2 of our creatures. Okay, so no. We do have to Tamiya's Completion on the Vision of the Unspeakable. Why does Tamiya's Completion kill that token? What am I missing? We won the game, by the way. That's 2 games in a row. Or no, 2 games in a row. 2 games in this draft where we used Tamiya's Completion on the Unspeakable token, and it kills it. Alright, bear with me. I know this is not especially MTG ASMR. I don't know. Do you want to hear my keyboard popping off right now? So Vision of the Unspeakable is a 0/0 flying trample. Gets +1/+1 for each card in hand. Does it take away abilities? Tamiya's Completion. Enchant permanent loses all abilities. There you go. That's why it kills it. It loses the ability that gives it the +1/+1, so that's why it dies. Fascinating. Well, massive achievement for us. We have gotten through our first draft and we have not been skunked. We have won a game. I mean, it's not the biggest achievement in the world, but for a minute there, it looked like we were going to get 0-3'd in our first go-round, which is fair. I happened to have the pleasure of watching LSV do his first drafts. He did 7-0 his first run out, and then got absolutely smoked his second run out, so I don't feel so bad. And we're still in it. Who knows what could happen from here? You've got a turn 1 play. Network Disruptor, 1/1 flyer. Got a Kami Flare, 2-drop that can remove something. I feel pretty good. We're going to play that Disruptor. Let's just tap itself. Why not? That's fun. They play Tranquil Cove, blue-white, gain a life. Again, just classic arena stuff where every single deck you play in a match has the same colors. We hit him for 1. It's back to 2020. Not the year, thank God. Let's move forward, please. Ooh, they play a Swamp. Okay. Fair enough. We drew a Gravelighter, which I like. Get him for 1 again. In the turn, they play the Moonfolk Puzzle Maker. 3 mana, 1/4 flying when it becomes tapped Scry 1. Do we want to bounce that to their hand? I think yes. I would love for them to waste their turn playing this card again. Put that back in your hand, please. Hit him down to 18. Well, we haven't drawn much. We have Ninja's Kunai, which is, something. A Gravelighter, which we don't really want to play until a creature dies. Tamiya's Completion, which is fine. For example, if they play a land and then drop a 4-drop, probably Tamiya's Completion it. Then we have this Kami's Flare, which we don't have any ability to play. Alright, they just played a Moonfolk Puzzle Maker again. And it's a bit lame, I have to admit, but we're gonna Tamiya's Completion it. A 1/4 flyer just really shuts down our attacks in this deck, so we'll tap it down, hit them for 3. It's 20 to 15. We're kind of in a good spot now. We drew a Twisted Embrace, which is 2 black as a removal spell. So we've got Kami's Flare. If we draw a red source, we have a removal spell. Ninja's Kunai, just a straight up 3 damage removal spell. Twisted Embrace if we draw a Swamp. And as a backup plan, we have Gravelighter, 3 mana 2/2 flyer. When a creature dies that turn, we draw a card. So we've got plans. And then if we draw anything else, basically, we can play it. Opponents in the tank, hopefully because they're facing some difficult choices. Like, should I surrender this turn or wait until next turn? Haha, JK. They play a 4-mana 3/2 lifelinker. Well, I think we're going to Ninja's Kunai that. We did draw Silver Fur Master, which is going to give our creatures bonuses. But we don't want them gaining life. So we're going to play and equip the Kunai and then do damage to the Ambusher. And then we're going to attack them for 2, 20 to 13. I do really like the Silver Fur Master. This has been a very unfortunate draw. They play Futurist Operative. 4-mana 3/4. When it's tapped, it's a 1/1 that can't be blocked. But you can pay 3 to untap it, which is kind of interesting. Okay, so we've got enough mana we can do 2 things in one. So we're going to start with the Modern Age to loot and see what our options are. We drew a Twin Shot Sniper. God, that makes me so sad. It's such a good card. I think we're going to bail on our Gravelighter. Ugh, that feels bad. I don't like doing that. But I don't see it happening. I like all our cards a lot more than that. Let's put in our Silver Fur Master. Attack with our 2/2 Flying Rogue. 20 to 11. Man. Now we really are at the point that anything is good. A swamp is good. Basically, the worst thing we could draw on our turn, which means we almost certainly will draw it, is an island. We have 3 islands in a swamp and no blue cards in hand. So I would put, let's you and I chat, listener, $100. I draw an island. I'll put $100 down on that. Are you willing to? Think now, before my turn happens. I'll give you 5 seconds, and we'll see what I draw. Well, it's hard to say. I drew a swamp, but then I got a island with my draw card discard with the Modern Age. We will be discarding a island. I don't know if that's a shock to you. That's what we're doing. Our opponent played a Prosperous Thief. This is the 3/2 that makes treasures when it deals damage to us. And they also played a Ninja Kunai. Eef. We are going to Twisted Embrace onto our Moon Snare, killing their operative, and then attacking with our Disruptor and our Moon Snare Specialist. They have that Ninja's Kunai that they just played last turn, which is going to take something out of ours, and almost certainly it's going to be the Silver Fur Master. Just pumping up our other 2 creatures. They're now at 5. Yeah, I mean, I don't really see a world where they don't take out the Silver Fur Master. It will cost them 2 mana this turn, which is big. We are facing another of the legendary channel lands, but it's just a land. Okay, so they did equip the Kunai, but they haven't activated it, which, you know, fair enough. So let's go to combat and see what they do. They haven't done anything yet, so this allows them to block and do damage to the Silver Fur Master. I mean, yeah, go nuts. That's what they do. They traded some creatures. They took some damage. It's now 20 to 4. We have a 1/1 flyer and a 2/3 flyer. And we really, really want to draw a mountain or a red source, because we've got Twin Shot Sniper ready to do the final blow. No, I just haven't drawn it. Well, we've got flyers. Let's attack them. They take it and go down to 1. Another game where we just need to draw anything. We're on 7 lands. They're on 1 health. We have 2 flyers in play. And we have the lethal burn spell in hand if we can draw that red. You know, it's funny. I've been glitching in these games about our opponents playing 3-color decks with no fixing. And here we are with a splash of red with 3 red sources in our deck. Who are we to talk about anything about right? And they surrendered. Deck exceeds expectations. AKA thought we were going to go 0-3. And now we're 2-2. My god. Here I thought I was going to get a nice short little podcast to put up for you. I don't think so, bud. We're going the distance. We're going for speed. Opponent goes first. This is a rough hand. We do have an Inkrise Infiltrator 2-mana 1/2 flyer on turn 2, and then we have nothing we can play because we have 3 blue spells and no blue mana. Are we going to draw blue mana? Of course we are. That's why I'm keeping. $100. We draw the island by turn 2. Get your bets in now, chat. Not yet. First draw's a twin shot sniper. That's not the worst. Because that can be channeled into a 2-mana deal too. You don't love to do that with your 2-for-1 spell, but that's not bad. We drew the island. $100. I was never worried. Were you worried? I was never worried. We're playing the Inkrise Infiltrator. Oh, baby. Opponent is red-white. Okay, we're finally getting our wish. We're getting a different color combination. They played Golden Tail Disciple, 3-mana 2/3 lifelink. That's good. That is good. We're going to attack them. We're going to ninjutsu. Moon Circuit Hacker. Get in there. Do 2 damage to our opponent. Draw us a card. Whew. And then we can just play the Inkrise again. This deck is sweet. Not the deck that we built. I mean, the blue-black ninja deck is sweet. Ooh, opponent plays Searchlight Companion. 3-mana 1/1 flying artifact creature that makes a 1/1 colorless spirit, not an artifact. And then they hit us for 2 with their lifelinker. We're not racing very well here. It's 18-20. But I don't hate our position here. Now what do we want to do? I think we're going to attack. We're going to attack with both our creatures. They could trade, of course. Okay, they're blocking both creatures. So we can take out their Searchlight Companion for free? Okay, never mind. I was going to say, why would they just give up their 1/1 flyer? It looks like they are not doing that. Okay, we go to damage. So it's 18-19. We can play our Gravelighter, get a 2/2 flyer, and draw a card. Seems fine. Nice. The 3-mana 2/3 lifelinker is kind of doing work on us. They're attacking again. Makes sense. No blocks from us. It's now 16-21. I mean, that's it's not nothing. They're getting some action off that. Well, what do we want to do here? It's kind of an awkward spot. 1/2 flyer that we could pump and a 2/2 flyer. Do we just attack with them? And then completion, maybe? Or do we silver for a master and then modern age? Ugh. I think we just go to attack. And I don't like it any more than you do. All attacks. What are these blocks? Okay, so they're blocking our Searchlight Companion, or with Searchlight Companion. It's a 1/2 flyer versus a 1/1 flyer, I mean. And then they play Regent's Authority. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So it's turning it into a 3/3. But we can just activate our Inkrise and just eat it. They played Light the Way. I mean, okay. They just 2-for-1 themselves with 2 combat tricks. Alright. They're again, continuing to hit us with this 2/3 lifelinker. I mean, go nuts, pal. Now, what do we want to do? I kind of don't mind them continuing to hit us with their 2/3. I think what we do is we twin shot sniper, 2/3 reach, play it, snipe the Searchlight Companion. It's dead. Attack. Hit them for 2. Or 19. I mean, they're continuing to gain life through all of this nonsense. But then do we want to Silver Fur Master or Modern Age? We'll play the Master. Right now it's just a 2/2, but we've got a Ninja in hand. The next few turns we've got like looting to do, we've got Tamiya's completions to throw out there. We got a lot of business to attend to. They play the Shattered States Era. So they gank one of our creatures, aka gain control of it for the turn. They took our twin shot sniper. Again, I'm just like, yeah, go crazy, man. We're gonna start putting the hurt to them, though. Tamiya's completion. Your Golden Tail is tapped and will never untap. Next, we all attack. It's now 10-15. Let's play the Modern Age. Chapter 1, we loot, we draw and discard a land. Beautiful. Their creatures get +1/+0 from the Shattered States. They don't have any except the tapped creature. This is nice. We loot again. We draw and discard another land. This is amazing. And we're just going to attack with everything. In the turn. Now, their Shattered States does get flipped. So it's a 3/3 trample haster. We're going to Tamiya's completion that. Because we don't want to take damage. And we would like to hit them on our turn. Now, if they play a creature, we have the Moonsnare Specialist. They have not. Okay, that's good for us. Okay, our Modern Age flips into the 2/3 flyer. We have 3 removal spells in hand. Moonsnare, Lethal Exploit, Twisted Embrace. They have no creatures that we care about right now, though, so we're just going to smack them for 6. It's 10-3. We'll pass it. Now, I mean, what could they do? We have 3 removal spells in hand and 4 creatures to their no creatures. I think they're pretty dead. Survey says they play Aki Ronin. 2 mana 1/3 Samurai. When a Samurai or Warrior they control attacks alone, they loot, and then they scooped. So, yeah, they're pretty done. Don't call it a comeback, kids. We're now 3 wins. Above average, performs above expectations, baby. Let's keep it rolling. We go first. We do have a turn 2 Moon Circuit Hacker. And then an Izumi Prowler. Again, like, we look at our opening hands and they tend to be very average, but going first does help this hand out quite a bit. We'll keep. Okay, our opponent kept as well. They go Swamp, Akiba Reckoner Raid. A card we have in our deck, but we have not had the pleasure of drawing so far. So this is a saga. Chapters 1 and 2, you drain your opponent for 1, and then it turns into a 2/2 menace. Play our Moon Circuit Hacker, and then we'd really like to get our opponent with this thing. But I don't see that being very likely. I think they're going to have removal or some 2-drop to play. Indeed. They have Dokuchi Silencer, 2-mana 2/1. When it deals combat to a player, they may discard a creature card. When they do, they kill a creature card. I mean, we're just going to go to attack. If they they let it through, I'm shocked. We'll draw that card. And we'll get rid of this Disruption Protocol, I think. Right? Or are we going to try to play that this turn? Nah, we're going to discard the Cyber Trespassers. I've been very underwhelmed with this card so far. Play our land. And we've got our Disruption Protocol ready to go. So their Saga then turns into a 2/2 menace. I mean, that's a great turn 1 play. Okay, they hit us with their Silencer. They did not discard a card. They're playing Searchlight Companion. Well, we're going to counter that. Not an amazing card to counter, but we want to use our mana. On our turn, we're going to Moon Snare, bounce the Captain, attack with our 2/1 Ninja, draw a card, and discard a card. And we're going to ditch Inkrise Infiltrator. We drew a Tamiyo's Completion. I don't hate what we're looking at. Our opponent has their Silencer, but we just have such garbage creatures that we really don't care if they discard a creature to take them out. I could block. I'm not gonna. Right now, the damage that we get from our creatures is more valuable to me. And if they want to discard a more expensive creature to take out one of our cheap spells, they can. They play Under City Scrounger, 1/4. Tap, create a treasure token. Only if a creature died, though. So, what do we want to do? Tamiyo's Completion, maybe? I guess so. If we had another swamp, I would Twist Embrace, but we don't, so... Scrounger gets completed. We attack for 4. Let's take the action of drawing and discarding a card. We'll ditch a mountain. Keep a Reckoner Raid is really annoying. Oh, looks like they are taking the action. This time they're discarding a Silencer to kill our hacker. I mean, sure. They played a Futurist Operative, which is pretty good. We can tap it down and get them for 2 damage. Or we could play a Nezumi Prowler. Yeah, I kind of like just playing the Nezumi Prowler. Play that. Give Lifelink and Death Touch to our Moon Snare. Attack with it. They just take it, of course. It's 12-14 now. And now we can play a Disruptor. And play a Kunai. I don't like our position. We're behind on life. It's 12-14. They have a 2/1, a janky, weird 3/4, and now they just got their 2/2 menace back. And they have 3 cards in hand. We have a removal in hand, and our Ninja's Kunai. And the big problem, as we've said multiple times about this deck, is there's nothing that amazing that I'm drawing into. Like, I'm not like, oh, if only I can draw my bomb, if only I can draw my late game plan. There's no late game plan. If we don't ramp up and get a bunch of damage in, then we lose the game. On the flip side, our opponent could be in the same situation. And maybe we just draw really well and win the game, despite all odds. They're attacking with their 2-1. Yeah, we're not going to let you do that anymore. I'm going to block with our Disruptor. Okay. So now what do? We have Twisted Embrace. So I think what we do is we Twisted Embrace on our Moon Snare. Does our opponent have a bounce or removal spell? And we can't really play around it. We have nothing in hand. Maybe they're just reading the card. It's kind of what we gotta cross our fingers for. Because otherwise we are quite dead. Not this turn exactly, but if this goes through, we're going to kill their operative with the Twisted Embrace. Then we're going to attack with the Moon Snare Specialist and then equip our Ninja's Kunai. That's something. Again, I mean, really relying on them whiffing a bunch, but okay, they don't seem to have anything. We'll target the operative. It worked. Let's go ahead and equip the Kunai onto our Prowler. Opponent is really taking their time in between these steps. They have their own Tamiya's Completion. Got it. So they are now tapping down our Moon Snare Specialist. Okay. Do we want to attack them now? I don't think so. We could have attacked and traded our 3-1 for their 2-2 Menace, but we have a Kunai that could take it out. They're attacking us for 2. That's to be expected. They have 2 cards in hand, which is pretty spooky. I mean, the only thing we can really hope for is that they're lands. Yeah, they're not. They played a Puzzle Maker, 1/4 flying when it becomes tap, scry 1. So we're just going to pass to them. Go to attackers, that's fine. They're attacking with both. They get to scry 1. Let's go ahead and kill the Road Captain. Just to preserve our life total a little bit. They kept a card on top. That is very not good for us. It's 9-14. Also not good for us, they played a Sky Swimmer Koi 3/3 flyer. When they have an artifact come into play, they can loot. We drew a land. It gained us life. That's great. Attack with our Prowler. I assume they'll just take it. They do. It's 10-11. They're going to crack us back for 4 now. Unless they're scared of this land I have in my hand. They are not scared. They hit us for 3. It's 7-11. They have another Okiba Reckoner Raid. We drew another land. This is the death knell of this deck. It's just all these lands we draw. Okay, so go to combat. I say we attack. Are they really going to block? Yeah, just no fear. More evidence to our theory that at this level of play, people just don't play around combat tricks. It's fine. They hit us down to 1. Literally nothing we could draw here to get us out of this. And the Acquisition Octopus is not going to be enough. Thus concludes our first foray into Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. Went much better than it looked like at first. We started 0-2 and wound up 3 wins, 3 losses. I'm going to count that as a win. I'm going to count that as pretty darn good for our first time at bat. We're carrying on a proud tradition of not opening good rares. and I hope to continue that tradition with you in the future. Thank you so much for joining me today. Join me next time for MTG ASMR. Good day.